Twitch good? YouTube? Got the connection? I definitely am gonna have to get myself a loading screen. Yeah, and live on YouTube. Okay, yeah. So this is gonna be a thing. Trying to do multi-stream is a lot. Hello. What's up, guys?
Hello.
How you doing? We exist in the internet sphere. I definitely need a loading screen if I'm gonna do 2 places at once because I don't know when either place actually goes live.
Yeah.
Hi, Lord man. Hello, Beefy. Hello, Brushy. Hello, Crow. Oh my gosh. More people on Twitch. Sheesh.
Oh, let's go.
Look at that. Hello. Welcome
They've been
in,
waiting.
everybody. They have been. There was somebody that was already on Twitch that was like, I'm in the early gang. So, dang. Notifs are That's true. The notifs are better on Twitch. I bet he gives great uppies. Do you give great uppies?
Yes, of course.
Ah, good. Fantastic.
Yes. Have you seen the side of my arms?
I mean, they're pretty big. They're like the size of my head. Or my entire torso, maybe? Dang.
Yeah, I'm a big boy.
A large lad.
Yes, that is a good description of myself. Hello.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. If you are new here, I am kozii-Chu. I'm part of Kawa Entertainment's Generation 1 Cascade, but you probably already know that.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
And this is Memory Leak, which is a show where I bring on a bunch of my friends and we just kind of talk about nostalgic stuff, some like memories and kind of just hobbies that we've had over time and things that we've cared about and learned a lot about. So usually for me, Pokemon and Homestuck. No, I mean, I'm not promising no more Homestuck talk. It just kind of happens.
I actually know nothing about Homestuck. So,
really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I know what it looks like. No, that's right.
And this, of course, is my friend Janken, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is JankenPomme. I'm a shopkeeper, VTuber here in virtual Japan. Well, quote, quote, virtual. And I am also part of the Boomer Gang, which is very well, how can I say, it fits with the memory leak idea as, the older you are, the more like your memory is leaking. So,
it's true.
Yeah.
Why? Don't pain me like this.
Yeah. I mean, I had to take notes to remember my stuff. So,
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been talking for a little while, like, here and there on Twitter, and X. And and we were like, hey, fellow boomer. And we're like, hey, we actually have a lot to chat about. So it was just naturally, eventually, that I find myself here, right? So I'm really happy. And I've been doing this kind of stuff too on my hand, right? Talking about like the good old days, back in my days, kind of things. So yeah, I'm quite excited. I got a couple like fun story and nice memories to share today. So yeah, really excited to be here.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I made this show kind of like just to hang out with my friends and like get to know them a little bit better and stuff like that. But I didn't want to do just one of those typical podcasts where you talk about, tell me about your content. All right, let's do like an interview. Yeah. So I was like, no. Tell me about when you... one of my friends told me about when he did parkour. I didn't even know he did parkour.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane. What?
Yeah, right?
He just like suddenly parkour.
Yeah, he was like a big parkour person in the past. Crazy.
Damn.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's cool. I do not do parkour at all.
I think you're too big.
Yeah. I'm too busy with my shop, and I've passed also the age threshold. I feel to do parkour.
Same. Yeah. Every morning I wake up and my bones crack, so I think it's too late for me.
Gotta stretch. Cozy chat.
Man.
The secret is in stretching. Okay, like make your posture great, and in the morning, like do your radio taiso. We called it in Japan.
Oh man, I really wish we had something like that. I've always wanted something like that because I feel like it's like a community sort of thing almost. Everybody is doing it. Oh.
Yeah, they do it at work sometime too. It's some workplaces. It's part of their morning routine.
That's so cute. What the heck?
Yeah, Japan care a lot about health.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's like physicals pretty much once a year, right?
Yeah, that too. And it's paid by companies most of the time. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Japan is really big on health. I love that sort of stuff.
I mean, we have a lot of old people, so
true.
Yeah, have to take care of health. Yeah,
understandable. You know, I used to do. Have you ever heard of color guard before?
Oh, color what?
Color guard.
No, I do not think I've ever heard of that.
So surprisingly, Japan does do it. I went to World Championships for color guard before, and there was a Japanese team that was there. Color guard is basically it's kind of like a physical sport that usually is aligned with like marching regiments and bands. It's usually the people that have like flags and carry around flags, or in Japan a lot of the time it has batons too.
Oh yes, I was about to say, I think in schools there's a lot of schools that have clubs for like parade and that kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah, so
I've actually went to a school festival, an actual real cool festival, just like in your anime the other day, and they had one. They had like a big parade and like with baton and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Japan does a lot of baton stuff. Actually, I think during the World Championships, the Japanese team had a big baton line that was doing some things. It was really cool to watch because so usually color guard where I'm from has like the flags and stuff, but then it has sabers. These just like metal, not sharp, but metal swords, and we spin them and like do tricks with them and stuff, and then also rifles because color guard because color guard was something that was tied to like our military too, with like parade stuff with military, so they would have like wooden rifles or these not sharp sabers, and we usually spin those instead of doing baton stuff. We usually skip most baton things. Very interesting difference. But
all right. So you were into that, or you were doing that?
I was doing that. I did that all through my high school years.
Nice.
But I learned a lot about stretching when I was doing that stuff.
That's the
tie-in. Yeah. I learned so much about stretching during that era. I have probably just this backlog of different stretches that people didn't even know exist. Did you know you can take your arm and hold it across your body, and then if you take your other arm and press up on the lower forearm, it stretches out the top part of your arm near your shoulder. Okay. And the lower down on your arm that you're pressing, the more of a stretch you get. So you can, if you go closer to like your elbow, you don't get as big of a stretch. But if you go closer to your wrist, then you get a bigger stretch. Kind of hard to explain without like showing it.
All right. I'll have to stretch later, I guess.
Yeah, it's good for especially if you're in the same position at your PC for really long.
All right. Yeah. I get that. I can get into very long streams sometimes. So, all right. Gonna remember the stretch tricks here.
You just tried it, Beefy? Yeah, it's a very good stretch, but it's a little rough if you go too close to your wrist too early. You can like build up to it. If you go closer to your elbow, then it won't hurt as much, and you can slowly like work your way down closer to the wrist. You got to get more flexibility.
Yeah, that's the thing too, right? Like getting into the flexibility to do it.
Yeah. Used for office stretches the most? Oh, is it? Huh.
I have a question for you.
What's up?
Kind of shifting the topic if you don't
Go ahead.
mind. So I gotta ask you, all right? Because there's some people that don't get it. And I'm like, I think it's one of the most clever thing about my identity. You understand why my name is JankenPomme. Do you?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right. Because there's a lot of people, they don't realize that it's a wordplay.
Yeah.
They don't realize that, like, because I can speak French, right? I'm Canadian French, and I can speak French. So I was like, and I'm in Japan, and the Junken being the rock, paper, scissors, like, oh, wait, hold on. There's JankenPomme, but if I just like change it for JankenPomme, which means apple, it's just like, oh, that's so clever. And I have a lot of people who I had to kind of told them. So maybe I was like, I'm gonna make a little bit of a explanation here. Maybe people didn't get it, like why the apple, on my apron, and in all of my channel is like all apple, like kind of teamed. Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people when they see it are like, oh, JankenPomme, like rock, paper, scissors. Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah. But no, it's the French word for apple. Yeah, exactly. I understood that.
All right.
But it was kind of like an obscure thing. I wasn't sure if you knew at first, and then I noticed all the apple things, and I was like, oh, okay, because I didn't know that you were French. Until I started watching more. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Oui. It's a good tie-in.
Est-ce que tu parles français?
I don't speak French.
She doesn't speak French.
I don't. I only know a couple of words. I know a couple of words, and I know a couple of like things about pronunciation. Like stuff like the last name, or a last name that has like OUX at the end. It just sounds like ooh, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
All right, like a chateau.
Yeah. I know that sort of stuff, but I don't know enough to actually speak French. I mostly just picked up a bunch of random words. I'm not even sure where I picked up pomme, but
well, I mean, English has so many French words, like it's kind of crazy.
I think it was pomme de crème, probably. I think that's where I picked it up.
I see.
Yeah.
And one of the idea, right, also behind my name is, yes, the pomme part is fun and everything, but there's actually a cool story I want to share to you about the Junken part, right?
Oh, yeah.
Junken being rock, paper, scissor. And I think I found my origin story about where I actually learned about the word Junken. And I think it's old. It's an old story, and it's kind of funny. So it all began with...
It all began.
Yeah, it all began. Young Junken had a NES, like a Nintendo system. Did you have one of those as a kid?
I didn't have an S. I only started on SNES era. I'm slightly less boomer. Though I have an NES keyboard right in front of me right now.
Okay. Fair. But maybe I'll have to explain to you a little bit, because in this era of the NES, right, there was those cartridge that there, back in the 80s/90s, the legality of like these kind of things were kind of, on the side. And there were those cartridges you could find like at flea market, for example, and they would be a multi-game kind of cartridge where you put this in your NES, and then it come with like 100, 100 or 150 kind of games. So a lot of games.
Oh,
A
dang.
lot of games. And in those games, it's kind of funny. It was the origin story of also indie game. There would be like very like a basic game, like with nothing like kind of how can I say marketable about it, like no branding or anything. It's just like a
Really
dude
like
made a game.
simple sort of games, yeah. Like indie
Yeah,
games, I guess.
yeah, exactly. Kind of the origin of the indie game. And I remember some of those games were Japanese, because those cartridges would come like from China or from Japan all the way here, and like people would just sell them like on the flea market or something. And then what happened once is, going through kind of this library of game on the NES cartridge, there was this one game where it's a game of JankenPomme, of rock paper scissors, but it kind of it left a scar, not a scar, but it left some memory of anime kind of content. Let me explain how the game was actually going. So basically, you would launch the game, and there would be a anime girl on screen. Okay, fair. There's an anime girl on screen, and then there would be your sign that is already kind of assigned, like rock, paper, or scissor, one of the three, and then there would be a another kind of assigned, but that would like rotate, like it would go slowly, paper, rock,
gotcha.
scissor,
Okay, all right,
and then it would just cycle like that. And you would need to press at the good timing to win against the computer.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you do that, and then hey, nice, I win. That was easy enough. Oh, she lost her socks. Oh, okay. Let me continue. And then yeah, nice, I win again. Oh, she lost her shirt. I'm kind of young. I'm kind of young for that type of content, I feel, but like this is enticing. And then closing in to like having almost nothing, the damn thing would go so fast. It would like go like and then I remember as a kid, I was just like, okay, I gotta do this. Oh, it's I don't know what's going over me, but I kind of want to win here. And and then I would like have a really hard time to focus, with the anime girl in my face as a kid. And then I remember very vividly.
Paper strippers. Sorry.
No, it's all good. And then it's such an old memory of Janken, but it really, like, I could never forget that, because I was really flustered as a kid, and I was really like, it's kind of hard.
Oh no!
There was a lot of steak,
Oh no! It's like me playing Honey Pop.
Yeah, pretty much the modern version of that. Yeah.
Sounds like a fun game. Yeah, I bet.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that was probably one of the first concept of Japanese Janken. It's still rock, paper, scissors, which is a concept we also have, but the Japanese version, and then just stick, I guess. And yeah, origin story, everyone, of why I'm Janken.
JankenPomme, created because of rock, paper, strippers.
I like to say to my chat that I'm say so all the time, but
you don't have to be say so here.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
So yeah, this memory, it's just something that it's something I can't forget. It's just this and I remember, like, it was kind of dark, Like, and there was no one, obviously, with me because, my mom would come in and probably would be like, Junken, what are you doing? Mom, playing rock, paper, scissors. Don't you see?
This is rock, paper, scissors, Mom. Just play the rock, paper, scissor game. Oh my God. Technically, the reason why I'm an alpaca is also related to like games and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. So back in the good old days, for some reason,
there's gonna be a lot of that today.
For some reason, a lot of games decided to make. Okay, this is gonna sound weird. I'm an alpaca, not a llama, but a lot of games decided to make llamas into a big theme. So like there was The Sims that had a bunch of llama stuff involved in it.
That's true.
There was a lot of games that just had like, here's a llama picture, or here's a silly man in a llama suit, or stuff like that.
Now that you say it, it's true. There was this kind of phase, right, where it was kind of the funny animal of the moment.
And it still is. Fortnite even has a llama pinata thing.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for some reason, llamas were just inherently tied to gaming in a weird way. So I weirdly developed this enjoyment and love for like llamas. Also cows. Cows were pretty similar, but llamas were more so. So
I see.
I really liked llamas. And then also the internet picked up on it because the internet started doing a bunch of different llama related like memes and stuff. Like like Mompaka said, llama llama duck. There was this whole song. Here's a llama, there's a llama, and another little llama, fuzzy llama, funny llama, llama llama duck. And it went on from there. So there was that meme. There was the Llamas in Hats show that was on YouTube. There was so much llama content.
So you're like an electronic llama/alpaca.
Well, hold on. I am an alpaca, right? So it shifted at some point. Right. So I was really into llamas. My parents and I made llama jokes all the time. My dad and I made a joke that alpacas were just lying llamas. And we hated alpacas because alpacas just couldn't be themselves and they couldn't admit that they're actually just llamas in disguise.
She's an actual alpaca hater.
I had this whole thing. And then at some point, I found these Vocaloid songs that were related to alpacas. There was two of them. There was ARPK, and then there was is it something in summer yet I'm in your fluff thoughts or something? I think it's leave in summer yet I'm in your fluff thoughts. And those were two songs that were part of the Vocaloid era that I watched obsessively because there was this cute little dancing alpaca that was just like doing a little step dance, and the music was super jazzy and it was really good and I got addicted to it. And then for some reason my love just shifted entirely because of Vocaloid to alpacas.
Vocaloid. Wow, you exist because of Vocaloid.
Yeah.
All right.
And then after that happened, after those songs came out, alpacas became the big thing in Japan because they came out with like Alpicasso plushies and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I shifted.
Japan doesn't care about llama much.
Yeah. So alpacas were something that Japan picked up on, and because I was, really big on anime and stuff, I just kind of shifted my attention from llamas being part of gaming to alpacas being part of like anime and plushies and stuff like that.
But it's still because of llamas in the beginning.
It's still because of llamas in the beginning.
So I guess like if your chat calls you a llama, like you cannot really hate
I'm not a llama, I'm an alpaca. It's a really weird running joke that my chat has to just call me a llama and try and get me to admit that I'm a llama, because I always fight against it. I'm always like, no, I'm an alpaca. But maybe it's just a culmination of all of those jokes over time. Maybe I actually am just a lying llama.
You kind of gave them an admonition right now. I mean, like,
if I knew that... Forget about this, chat. You didn't hear anything. You heard nothing. Nothing happened here today, chat. Nothing. Nothing.
No llama allowed, all right?
No llamas.
Right? We hate llama over here. Okay, all right.
Only alpacas.
That's kind of interesting because you were telling about like those llama back like on the Sims and that kind of stuff, and that really made me think, and that's something I wanted to kind of talk a
Hmm.
little bit about. Like, you know how the technology like back in the 90s versus like technology like now,
Mm.
there was like this, how can I say, technology had this aura of like mystery, right? Not
Yeah,
everyone
kind of did.
around you were like a programmer or engineer, and like I felt that like in the 90s, like like blowing the cartridge, smack it
Mm.
around,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Just hit
And
it.
yeah, and just like the modem router, they would do like their whole like telephone like song like and you're like, why does it have to do that? It's like some sort of uh magic song like you have to do to go on the internet.
Yeah.
And yeah, it made me realize when you were talking about the old Sims, because old Sims was like what, early 2000
Early 2000s,
or
I
something.
believe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
if not,
So
like, very late 90s.
right, and there was like the whole like yeah, the years, how do you say it in English, with the fear of the 2000, like
Mm.
that
Yeah,
all like
the
technology
Y2K
like would,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Y2K, yeah,
Mm.
like all technology would like shut down. I feel like now in 2023 we would never think of something like that being
No.
possible. We're so used to our technology, and
Yeah.
sometimes I think I miss it a little bit, where it was like kind of discovery, right? It was kind
Mm.
of like we were like learning about like technology and kind of growing with it. Like my mother, Junkin mom, would know
Jacket
absolutely
Mom.
would absolutely know nothing about that. And for me to just like, go on the internet, and like the first time I had my first PC, because I was like always telling Junk and Mom that like I I wanted a PC. It was important for me.
Mm.
And it was one of my I think birthday gift. And I still remember the first time I had a blue screen.
Oh, the
Oh
blue screen of
my
death.
god. I was kind of young when I had my first PC, right? It was not a family PC, it was my PC,
Hmm.
because my mother would know nothing about it. And like I was like this kid and just like, Mom, that screen is blue. And then she was like, You broke it.
Oh
You
no.
broke it. It was so expensive, and here you are, you broke it. And it's like, I hadn't done nothing.
Oh
The thing
no.
just like went blue, and
And it was so much more common then.
exactly, right? Like on Windows 95 or something like that.
Yeah.
And and yeah, I still remember like it was dramatic. It was a dramatic moment. Just like, we're gonna need to go to the repair shop, and just
Oh
like
no.
nowadays I have a blue screen. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna reboot that shit. It's just like we don't react the same to technology. And somehow like I think there was some funny and like memorable moment because of like not being used to how like this technology is just like inherent, just
So
like everywhere, right?
so weird enough though, I didn't actually have those experiences because my
Huh.
parents were geeks before I was. So my parents actually met each
Oh.
other through role playing online. Yeah, and then they went to one of the like ice cream social sort of meetup sort of things, and they met each other there. And then
That's so
they did
cute.
like D&D campaigns together. My dad had like a whole suitcase of Magic the Gathering
No
cards.
way.
Yeah, they were big geeks.
No
So they taught
way.
me about PCs. By the time I was like 8 years old, I already knew what a blue screen of death was. My first word was computer.
Wow.
It was actually compooper, but
Yeah. I'm older than you, though. I'm
Yes,
fairly
yes,
fairly
I
sure
believe
that I'm
so.
older than you.
Yeah.
So, but that's so interesting. Like for me, complete opposite.
Yeah. But it
Like
was
I
still
remember. Yeah.
it was still during a time where like technology was so like mysterious to most people. So I was the one that was usually the tech support for everybody. I got better at technology than my mom was at some point. Oh, sorry, my fourth word was computer. It was mama, dada, kitty, and then kapooper, apparently. My first word that wasn't a family member, okay? But no, yeah, so I became like the tech support for people. I was the one that knew most of that stuff ahead of time. I actually had, since we knew in our family what the Y2K was gonna be, I had a Y2K like bug error plushie. It was just like a little plushie of this bug that they had created to be a mascot basically for the Y2K because everyone else was so scared of it, but we were just like laughing at everyone because we knew what was actually happening. You still have
that?
I don't know. I'm gonna try and find it. I'm gonna try and find it because that would be really good.
I'm taking notes right here.
Yeah.
I'm taking Y2K.
Yeah. I'll definitely try and see if I can find it. I don't know if I still have that one, but if I don't, I know there is actually a picture of it that I can find.
Okay. Nice. That's Yeah, the Y2K was like it was an experience. Like it's something that like, people will never live again. So
yeah. Well, okay. You were talking about it though, and I realized that we're kind of going through a similar era just with AI stuff, where everybody is constantly afraid of AI and like what AI could do and what it could be and stuff like that. I think it's a bit different because it's so tainted by capitalism. But
yes.
But if you don't count capitalist stuff, it's kind of a similar environment. It feels similar.
Yeah. Without going into too much detail, I have to deal with like people like because I when I don't maintain my shop, I have to find revenue elsewhere, and in that place, it's something that like CEO would bring up all the time, like obsess with it, like oh we have to get this technology, and just like I receive an email every day like have you seen what we've done with AI, and just like bro just like leave me alone like with your old man dreams of like
that's all the old guys.
yeah so I totally get what you mean.
There's something out there about a similar Y2K glitch, something to do with integer overflows and stuff. Really, is there?
I have
Unix
no idea.
time. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. Interesting though.
I'm sure that if it becomes relevant, it will definitely.
We'll see it rear its head. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course I talk a lot about the 90s, right? And there's something that's been also on my mind. I have a little bit of a story. I won't say the whole story because it's kind of long. But Mario RPG, the remake, just came out recently. And that game was very important to me as a young Junkin. And I had like a very wholesome story about me as a kid going to rent this game at my
oh my god, game rentals. I want to talk about game rentals. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm going. This is exactly where I'm going. And then I told my fans and my viewers about that story, and I was thinking about it recently, and was like, do you imagine how game rental for content creator like us, how much like we could save so much money?
It would change everything.
and then I realized I miss it.
Yeah.
I miss game rental. Like, there is like, for example, on Steam, you can play for 2 hours of a game. And if you're not happy, you can refund it, right?
Yeah.
That is at least something. But at least, when I have a game rental, you have like the assurance that like you can just bring it back. Like you can play how long you want for your rental. And somehow, I don't know why we got rid of it. When you think about it, I think it's because it didn't make enough profit. Because
Yeah.
people like would uh abuse of like you rent it and then you don't have a life for 24 hours because the only thing you
Yeah.
do is you play your game until you complete it. um
Yeah. Well, I also did like the week-long game rentals sometimes, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. But yeah, there was something about game rental. It was really good memory for me.
Mm.
The especially when you're younger, and I didn't have a car in my family. So I would walk by myself as a kid with my saving, and I would like go and rent my game. And
Mm.
you're just like you're walking, you're going to the rental, and then you're just like, hey, I hope they're gonna have my game because
Yeah.
they only have like 3 copies at my rental shop. And then you're like,
Yeah.
you build the anticipation as you're kind of going, because I was going when the door opened. I'm a
Mhm.
smart kid.
Yep.
I'm gonna have my rental as soon as possible and as late as possible. So I would like be kind of anticipating if they have it, and then I would check the numbers because they would have my save. uh,
Oh
especially in
yeah,
the
when
Super
you
NES.
yeah, when
Yeah.
you rent something and then there was a couple of times where I had to re-rent something and I would check to
Yes.
see if it still had my save file on it. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Exactly, exactly. So, it as a kid, I felt like there was an adventure there. And that was just so fun. And I don't know if I'm wearing my boomer uh goggle, but I feel like it's now such instant kind of
Instant gratification.
yeah, all the
Yeah.
time. And I feel like these kind of moments are different, at
Mhm.
least. Like they
Yeah.
for especially for a game, you're just like, let me just grab my mobile phone. I'm just gonna download like that one
Yeah.
game and just like bada bing bada boom kind of thing. But I felt like growing up, like kind of those moments where I don't know, the I cherish those memory for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it takes a little bit of the like respect or like appreciation out of stuff to just be able to just like go on Steam and buy something for $5 and just play it whenever the heck. Or stuff like Game Pass. People mentioned Game Pass being sort of like game
Yeah.
rental. It kind of is, but at the same time
Mm.
it's just it's not the same experience. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't choose really.
Mhm.
What is on the Game Pass is what
Yeah.
is on the Game
You're not
Pass.
really picking,
So
and then also there's no like there were times when I went to Blockbuster and I would look around to see what games I wanted to play, and they didn't really have anything that I would immediately grab, but I would be like, but I want to play something. So I would just grab
Mm, mm,
something that
mm,
I
mm,
otherwise
mm.
wouldn't have touched. And I don't think I
Yeah.
do that anymore because I can search different games by keywords to find exactly what I'm
Mm.
looking for.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah, yeah.
wastes less time in some instances,
True.
but I don't know. It's not the same. Not the same as it used to
Yeah. Boomer goggle. But I still
be.
think like for a content creator, like it would be the best. Like
Mhm.
sometime, not gonna lie, kind of want to buy a game on Steam and timing myself going live for like
2
a
hours?
hour, an hour
Yeah.
58 minutes. Like, all right, guys, thank you for coming, and just like, all right, refund, get out of
Technically, I did that recently. I got Starfield and
Oh, yeah, I
I
remember you
actually
told
played
me.
3 hours of Starfield, but
Mm.
I played 3 hours of Starfield and it just wasn't working and it was kind of boring and it was just like not my thing. So I went and asked for a refund and they were like, "Yeah, okay, you could have it." I think
Oh, for
I
3
bought
hours.
Dave
Okay.
the Diver with it. Along with a couple other things.
Okay. Okay. I thought there was a hard limit on the 2 hours, but maybe if you say
It's
you had
so
technical difficulties
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
why like your time is higher. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I think it was partially just I literally can't run this. So, and then I
Right,
think it
right,
also
right.
helped that I wasn't asking for the money back. I was asking for Steam credit because I knew I was going to buy other stuff with it anyway.
Ah,
So, for them it's
I
like, well,
see.
you already spent the money. You just don't want it. You want to get other things? Okay, sure.
Fair, fair.
Yeah. I think
But
that helped.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, 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 mm.
But you missed the random game that you might never play but you find you like. Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. And
I
yeah, going to
definitely
the
tried
library
games because of that.
too.
Oh
Just
my God. Oh, are you kidding? It's literally on my notebook. Yes, let's talk
really?
about library. Yes, I wanted to talk about
Oh
libraries.
my god, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me, what do you miss about the library? Because it also has a special memory place for me.
It's a similar thing. I feel like a lot of the things that
Mm.
I miss from back then are just kind of like, I guess, going outside and touching grass. Because
Yeah, discovering, right?
yeah, because I miss going to the
Mm.
mall. I miss going to fairs still happen. I can still go to fairs. That's something at least. But like I
Yeah.
can't go to the mall really and hang out. I can't go to like a Blockbuster and find games like that. I can't go and hang out in a nice quiet library and read a bunch of books. I can't browse really easily. I loved libraries the most because I could just go in and like go through different aisles and be like, okay, well, I'm gonna
Mm.
check out like cooking books or something today, or I'm gonna
Right.
check out like some fantasy stuff or so on. You can
Mm.
kind of do that in things like a Barnes and Noble sort of bookshop, but it's just not the same feeling. I guess because it has like this overarching, like, you have to pay for stuff. This is a shop sort of feeling
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the
Yeah.
smell of a
For
library is true.
yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
For me, like my memory of like going to the library,
Mm.
again, maybe I'm a bit older than you, so it wasn't the same,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember you go to the library sometime and you're looking for something specific. Sometimes you want to kind of discover and you want, to just go through the aisle, but like if you wanted something specific,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember in the center of the kind of the library,
Mm.
there would be this really old computer
Oh,
running
yeah.
on MS-DOS,
Yeah.
running on MS-DOS, and the screen would be black and I remember like orange. Because you could change the color, but my library had the orange color text, and then it felt even older because of that color. I feel,
Yeah.
and then you kind of had to learn the system of like the MS-DOS app they were like kind of running there.
Mm.
And even so, it was a challenge to find a specific book.
Mm.
And even when you did, you're like, all right, I have my number, I have my aisle. Now I have to find it.
Yeah, you have to, it's like a hunt. You have to go searching for it.
Exactly. It's the adventure is starting.
And then also
then
there
you're
could
like,
be things that are
mm,
near it that you're like, ooh, actually, I'm kind of interested in that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually they kind of have, I think, related
Yeah,
content.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was by letters purely.
It depends on the
No.
library. Sometimes it was related
Yeah.
content, sometimes it was alphabetical. I think it actually
Yeah.
depended mostly on how much stuff they had. If it was a really big library, it
Mm,
was usually just alphabetical stuff.
yeah,
Also, somebody
and
said libraries still exist. They do still exist, but they're
they do.
incredibly limited hours, and a lot of libraries actually have just completely shut down. So I live in like a very
Yeah.
small area. There is a library here, I believe, but it's not open most of the time. So I can't just go hang out there.
Yeah, and it's just maybe because we get used to other methods, but like I went in libraries like within like the last like 10 years or something,
Mm.
and I don't know, it just it doesn't like kind of like you said, the smell. Like there was this obsession in the
Mm.
80s 90s about carpet, and I remember like libraries were like full of carpet, and kind of the carpet and the books kind of musty a little bit. Like
Yeah. That nice book smell. The old book smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The worst though,
Mm?
is when you have your number, you have your aisle, and then you go, and the book is supposed to be there.
Oh, and it's not there.
And it's not there. Where is my book?
Yeah.
Where's my book? And then you go like, and you start looking around it. You're just like, is there like some like kind of shenanigans, like someone like kind of moved it and they didn't put it back at the right place, and you're like, and then you start like paranoid, like maybe it's because like it's the attendant, they haven't like brought it back. So you go check on like the kind of place where there's book like to be placed on their shelf, and you're like, where's my book? And in the end, sometimes you're just like, I didn't find my book.
Yeah,
So
you don't get
home.
it. Never mind. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's also a secondary part of it where, like, you mentioned that it's not the same anymore, even if you go now. I think part of that is just that they're so empty now. It kind of feels sad. They're not as like well loved, and there's not as much like attention put into them anymore. That people don't really hang out there as much anymore. I liked going to things like Barnes and Noble and stuff, not only because I could, sit around and read things, or like to libraries or stuff so I could sit around and read things, but because there was so many other people there, and it was just like a nice collection of people sitting around drinking coffee, reading books, hanging out.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Boomer Google, it's not the same. It's not the same. Back in my days.
Libraries are slowly becoming internet cafes. Yeah, people just go in with like their Kindles or stuff, and they sit in a corner and they hang out like that, which is fine. But I don't know. I liked the vibe just because it had such a good atmosphere to it at the time, and now it's kind of lost some of the charm, mostly because a lot of people would prefer to just stay at home and open up something on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah. I don't read enough, to be honest. I mean, I'm so busy that like reading takes time.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have also swapped to audiobooks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a kind of, maybe because I'm not a fast reader, but I feel that even if you are, it's just like can I just like go faster with this? And like you said, you would just listen to it as you do something else or something, right?
Yeah, I actually, so for the last week and a half or so, since I've been taking care of my cat, I've been reading a lot of books. I've been reading through this series called The Cradle series by Will Wright. And very good series, but it's kind of like that with, like, I want things to go faster because I've been speed reading the books. I read a book a day for a couple of days there, for like 5 days.
All right.
Yeah, I was reading like a book a day. But then again, I also did that back in the past. I remember going to one of the Harry Potter opening nights for like when one of the Harry Potter books released. I think it was the 5th Harry Potter book or something. One of the really long ones. And I picked that up and I had finished it by the next day when I went to school.
All right. Okay. I mean, yeah, if you are a fast reader, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They actually taught speed reading at my old elementary school.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think for my 3rd grade through 5th grade classes, my teachers heavily emphasized speed reading. And I don't know if that was because they could like tell the way that things were going, or if it was just kind of a good skill to pick up. But they would do these things where like for 10 minutes a day, we sped read and tried to read as many pages as possible.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then we would do all of the like tests and stuff for the books, so we couldn't like just skip over pages. We had to actually, ingest some of the knowledge. So, very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think we ever did that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I don't think most schools did, but my schools were kind of weird.
Yeah. Do you have good memory of schools?
Yes,
personally?
I was.
Yeah, you
So
do.
me personally, I was a depressed and kind of uppity kid.
Oh
So
yeah.
like I didn't want to do my homework. I didn't understand like why do I have to learn this stuff, all that stuff.
Yep.
But
Yep. Yep. Yep.
like reminiscing and like looking back on the stuff that I had, there were things that my schools did that were incredibly not only ahead of their time, but like very interesting. I had my 5th grade teacher. This was way back when technology really wasn't as common still.
Right.
He had us getting emails and paying attention to the stock market and trying to learn about stocks.
Okay. Okay. This teacher is just like, I know these kids.
He knew.
They're gonna need
He
it.
knew.
They're gonna need it.
Yeah, he was he heavily emphasized technology.
Yeah.
So he taught us about emails. He actually treated it almost like we were a company, so he would send out like business emails to the whole class. So for like different
Interesting.
assignments, we would have to check our email to make sure that we had all of the dates and stuff set up.
Huh.
Sometimes we had to like send in our assignments through email, which was a little bit tough for some people because of course computers weren't as common at the time. But
Yeah, I was about to say.
he had in the classroom a whole array of like 20 different computers set up for people. So he
Wow.
spent exorbitant amounts of money to try and teach kids about it. Of course, he
Huh.
eventually got like fired from the school because parents were uncomfortable about him teaching their kids about the stock market and emails. So
Huh.
that's great.
But little did they know that it's probably
He
the
was
best-
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Huh.
that was in my 5th grade. During my middle school era, I was actually part of a program that went out of its way to almost treat classes like college classes. So we would only have like 2 different courses through a day. They would set them up to be 2-hour classes instead of 1-hour classes. And they would combine together multiple classrooms to make a larger classroom and teach us like, today is our science and English day, or today is our history and math day, or stuff like that. And then they had, they taught us virtues.
Oh, interesting.
They like
Well-
taught us different, like, this is kindness, this is what it means to be kind, this is how you can like be kind to other people and stuff like that. I had
we-
very interesting schools.
We actually here in Canada could have the opt-out of religion classes,
Oh.
and we would be put in kind of a similar class where we would it was called the moral education, I think, and where we would talk about like these kind of things of virtue and like kindness and all this kind of stuff. So
Yeah. We also built a roller coaster though.
huh.
The same program had us doing these big, like, basically year projects. Like each of the years of classes would do a different project. So one year we did a giant Rube Goldberg project that was inside of our gym, and it was all different historical events. And we had to make sure that we were in groups of like 3 or 4 people, and we had to make sure that not only did our Rube Goldberg thing kind of enact our historical event, but it connected to the 2 people next to us on either side, so that it would keep going throughout the entire gym. And then in my last year of middle school, we built a giant roller coaster in the gym.
Huh. Like working and everything? Like would
Working.
it be
It was a wooden roller coaster, so we couldn't ride on it, but we had this little Gumby plushie that we put in a little cart,
Yeah.
and he rode through.
Does chat know about this? Because this is all what you just said.
Gumby?
I know exactly.
Do you know what Gumby
Yeah.
is, chat?
Cool. I do, but I don't know about chat. Chat, do you know that?
Chat, do you know
That's
Gumby?
old. Is it like 70s? Like Gumby's so old. At least 80s.
It's very
At
old.
least 80s. It's very old.
Gandhi, no. Gumby. Gumby.
Nice
He's
try.
he's a lovely
the green
little
plastic-
green,
Yeah,
cartoon character boy. Well, I mean, it wasn't really a cartoon.
Yeah.
It was more of like a claymation sort of thing.
Yeah,
wasn't
it
it?
was kind of a claymation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gumby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peripherally aware of Gumby. I'll take that. Twitch knows Gumby.
Oh my God, YouTube, what are you doing? Wow. I thought YouTube was for the one for boomers.
That indie horror game aimed at kids. No, no, it was a cartoon.
He was a bit creepy. He was a
little bit creepy.
Yeah. Like definitely not meant to be creepy. Oh my god, I did not take a note of that.
I think Teletubbies were also creepy though.
As a kid, I had a fear, and that's not on my note, but that brought it back. So memory is actually leaking.
And memory is leaking. Memory is leaking.
I had a uncontrollable fear, completely irrational fear of E.T.
That's funny because I loved E.T.
My JankenPomme was just like, why? He's so kind, like, and he's so like, wholesome. And I'm just like, hell no. Have you seen his face? I'm scared. What?
He did have quite the face. I loved E.T. I watched E.T. so many times.
growing up though, I was just like, why was I like so afraid of it?
There's a lot of things that I really liked as a kid that I find just really strange now. Like there was one thing that I was addicted to that was called the Rats of Nim. And
Wait.
it was about these rats that were lab rats that escaped and they went and joined up with this big rat colony, and there was kind of like this whole, I don't know, fight against the humans that they were doing. But the Rats of Nim, watching it back and like looking at and reading the story and stuff back was almost a drug trip. It was crazy.
Yeah, there was some stuff like back in the days where you're just like, that's not for kid. There's this show, especially Japanese anime that made it here in the 80s. Holy freaking what the hell? These shows were so depressing. Dimitan.
I haven't heard of that.
It in English? The frog. It's like is maybe I'm saying the French name. Or there was
I don't think I saw it.
Remy, I have to check live. But there was this era in the 80s where the anime they would send us would be like depressing as hell. And you were just like, that's not for kid. Like really, like looking back at it, you're like, that's not for kid. And
yeah.
Oh my god. Let me just try to find the English name of the Remy. Remy Nobody's Boy.
I don't think I saw that.
That was in the 80s when it first came to us, I think. And it was so depressing. It was the tale of an orphan boy.
Oh, Mampaka knows Remy.
Would be looking for his parents, and then they would make friends with like people that he comes along the journey. Like there was a monkey and there was a dog, and like basically I think in the end like they all die or some shit. Like it's just like like it was super depressing, and just like why do this to
Oh, was that
kids,
the same
like,
era as The Little Prince? I do remember The Little Prince.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was some weird content back then that like you're just like that shouldn't have been for kids.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that was on like Cartoon Network and stuff like that too that was
yeah.
weird. There was remember I think it was Ren and Stimpy.
Oh my god, I was about to say. There was this era, the vomit era, the Nickelodeon era. I hated it. I was a little bit too old for this era. So I was just like, this is gonna make our kids weird.
Yeah.
Like I was too old for it, and I was like, why do they like that shit? Like that's for the same reason that I almost know nothing of SpongeBob's. You would
Mompaka,
think.
Mompaka is like, I loved Ren and Stimpy. Thank you. That was for me, not for you.
But yeah, I had this kind of I was disgusted by this kind of era of cartoon. So I missed a lot of it. It just didn't click
Yeah.
with me at all.
Yeah. Well, also,
and
I also
mm,
hated SpongeBob at the time. I don't know what was up with
interesting.
SpongeBob. People really liked SpongeBob. I wasn't into
Yeah.
SpongeBob. I liked things like Ren and Stimpy. I also liked Cow and Chicken, I think it was at the time.
Oh no, and it was so gross.
Oh yeah, it was very
Oh my
gross. I don't
God.
know why I liked Cow and Chicken, but I did. I think there was also Rocco's Modern Life or something. That one was pretty good. There was a lot. So it was that same type of humor, but for some reason, when SpongeBob came out, I just decided I hated it. And like all of the other kids around me really liked SpongeBob, and I was sitting there like, ew, SpongeBob, ew, gross.
Yeah. Yeah. I never rewatched it or anything, and I know how iconic it is for the internet, and sometimes it's just like it flies like completely. I'm unaware of like
Yeah.
the joke, because if you do a SpongeBob joke to me, I'm just gonna be like,
Child hipsters, I was.
I'm a bit of a hipster too, so it's okay.
I was a child hipster though. It's true. So okay, my
Yeah.
parents taught me, since they were geeks already, they made sure that I was completely literate and like I had good punctuation and grammar and stuff like that. And all of the other kids that were on the internet at the time were using things like LeetSpeak, or
Oh my
they
God, yes.
couldn't type to save their life. And I was sitting there like elitist hipster, like, you can't even spell. Look at you.
I was one of those kids that would do like the lower and uppercase for absolutely no good reason. It's just because it looks cool. Oh my God. I wouldn't do too much of like replacing like by numbers or like the at sign for A's. But I would do the random like uppercase and lowercase. Why would we even think it's cool?
I don't
Oh my
know.
God.
Nowadays, it's like everyone just talks in lowercase, and that's how everyone speaks.
Oh, do you know what I miss? Doing that shit, but on ICQ.
On what?
ICQ.
ICQ.
Oh, I'm too old for you.
Yeah, too old for me. Too old for me.
ICQ was probably the first thing that came out that looks like MSN or nowadays
like IRS
like
sort of stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. And on ICQ, when you would type, you had this option of having the good old typewriter sound effect. So it would go ka-chug, 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 ka-chug.
Oh man, I wonder if that's why people like loud keyboards now. Same sort of thing.
Maybe.
Typewriter kind of sounds.
When you think about it,
Yeah.
maybe it's reminiscent. Like there's
Yeah.
something about like typing and it makes noise, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mompaka mentioned AIM. I did do AIM at the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Man, we're old.
Oh, God.
But I'm having a good time remembering this. Actually, earlier when you were talking about your roller coaster.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You mentioned a wood, and I was like, oh, right, I want to talk about that. You were saying how it was a wooden.
Oh, yeah. A wooden coaster,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and there's something from Junken childhood that was important, kinda, to me. It developed a lot of my imagination, I think, as a kid. And it was in playgrounds at schools. We used to have those huge wooden playground.
Oh, yeah.
And they were ginormous. They were huge because it's wood, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
just like layer them, and they were like you could go really high. And at some point, I guess it makes sense when you're tired of having kids that like break their knees or whatever because this thing is like not safe. But at some point, they were just like, no, 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 wood is not safe. Metal is not safe. We're gonna replace all of these with plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I get it. But to me, there was something visually about those wooden playground, especially when it's just like a kind of fortress kind of playground,
Yeah.
and you would just like go in it with your friend, and suddenly it's an adventure.
Yeah, they looked
Suddenly
really
it's
cool.
like today it's a pirate ship. The
Yeah.
other day it's a medieval castle. There
Yeah.
was something with like the grandiose like kind of display of those big wooden playground, where I was just like, I really missed that. Like it felt like bigger than you. It's
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, that's the thing. It's just those things were so big, and somehow you had to be careful because yes, you could face plant from really high and like probably like end up like being
Break something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
badly injured, right? But I don't know, somehow I feel that this kind of necessity of safety and always being secure and everything, sometimes it just sucked out of fun out of
Yeah,
it.
it's kind of gone a little bit overboard. Though I will
Yeah.
say the one thing that I don't miss about those things is the metal slides. Because I would
Oh,
go
yeah.
out to play in the middle of the afternoon and I would be sitting there like, I can't use the slide. Or if I wanted to, I would have to wear sweatpants to go play. And I lived in California, so very hot.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
That's like the one thing. Oh, and then also getting splinters kind of sucked.
Oh, the splinter. Oh my God, so many splinter. Uh,
My least favorite time was when they decided to turn all of the playgrounds into like wood chips on the bottom.
oh yes. Oh, what
Who
is wrong with
decided
those?
on that?
I know. What is this?
Like
freaking
the
thing?
sand is okay, I guess. Kind of annoying to have the sand, but also you could make sand castles that way. That's fine. But who decided on wood chips for children's
those
playgrounds?
Oh yeah, those freaking wood chip. I was just like they're not like comfortable to walk in. If you fall in it, it suck. Like it's just like why?
You carried water to cool down the slide. Oh, to put water down the slide and cool it down.
Oh,
That kinda makes
Never
sense.
heard of that technique. That's actually, but then you're all wet.
Yeah, but you're a
Unless
kid,
it was
so
so hot. Yeah, I guess.
you're a kid, so who cares?
Yeah, yeah. Being Canadian anyway, we wouldn't care because
They're bringing back some of the metal stuff? Wait, are they?
Really.
Oh.
Probably not in schools. Maybe
Yeah,
like
probably not.
public or private playground. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as being Canadian, being wet when you go play in the playground, we have winter.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we do
Fair.
forts. We do like snow forts and that kind of shit. So
since I've been in California all of my life, I've never done like snowball fights or sledding or building like snow fortresses or anything like that. The only time I ever saw snow was when some of my neighbors brought a truckload of snow from the mountains to bring down for their kids to play with. And it was just a truck of snow. So of course it melted like instantly.
Of course. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, to me, 6 months of winter is just, the norm. So not here in Japan.
We have fire season.
Yeah, not the same. Not the same. It's different. Yeah. But yeah, now I kind of miss it sometimes because here in Japan, it's very bare.
Mm.
But there's something like if you ever have the chance, like not living in a place that has winter for 6 months, that kind of sucks. But if you ever have the chance to go like go to a very snowy place at some point in your life. Like it's kind of mystical. It's
I
kind of
really want to visit Alaska
yeah.
sometime. Like during the dark season in Alaska, I really want to see what that's like.
Yeah. Yes. Like snow. Like it's so. How can I say? There's snow everywhere to the point where if it's sunny, it hurts because like everything becomes like reflective, crazy.
Oh.
It's at the same point like it feels special, kind of like because it's not something that like can be replicated easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you ever have the chance, it's an experience. I would definitely recommend.
You mentioned replicating it. I just remembered. Since I live in California, I went to Disneyland a lot. We actually they had these special passes for Californians that cost less that you could get for annual passes.
I see. That's cool.
So we had them, and I had them throughout, like, you know, my teen-ish years. We went to Disneyland during the holiday season, and because, you know, they're trying to make things mystical and magical and holiday themed, they wanted to have snow. But we lived in California, so snow was impossible. So what they usually would do instead of having real snow, either they would have those like fake snow blowers everywhere, or more likely, they had like suds machines. These just like bubble machines that would make enough suds to make it look like everything was white and covered in snow. But it also made it really slippery.
There was an attempt.
Yeah.
There was an attempt.
They tried.
Yeah. So you never went like skiing or anything?
Never.
Interesting. Actually, I've also never skied like on a mountain.
I've been watching a lot of skiing videos lately, actually.
I see. That's so interesting. That we're going into like less memory and more like experience.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, it's
fine.
It's really interesting how, you know, you can experience like your whole life, right? Your whole memories can be built on something, and then you talk to someone like, you know, with the internet, whatever, and you're just like, this doesn't resonate with me at all. I have no idea like what kind of sentiment you're trying to explain to me because I've never like lived that or seen that or experienced that.
It's crazy. That's why I like the internet so much, though, because you get to learn so much about other places and other people and more experiences.
I said once that VTubing opened the door for Indonesia. And I would never probably be exposed to as much thing about Indonesia if it wasn't like for VTubing, for example.
Yeah.
Because I do watch a lot of
also
Indonesian,
the Philippines for me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Egypt. One of my old one of the old members of Kawa. She left us a while back at the beginning of the year, but she is from Egypt, so I learned a lot about Egypt and stuff from her too. Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's interesting. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because I think it's part of memories, right? Memories and experience. It's kind of the same when you think about it. So, nice.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just like, I just didn't think we would go into this kind of thinking, just sharing about our stories. But
yeah,
it is true, huh?
Yeah, when I brought Marion last week, actually, we ended up talking. We had this whole discussion kind of about content direction and like changes over time and stuff like that. So it kind of just, all of these memory leak episodes just evolve into some other life topic, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. It's part of memories. So cool. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed something. This is me living here in Japan for too long. I have issues when I listen to someone not making noise, because it is a thing here in Japan staying in complete silence when someone is speaking is seen as rude. So just if you notice, like
I picked that up too. No, yeah, I do it too. Yeah. I picked it up too. I think I picked it up because of other VTubers and people from Japan and stuff. Because I kind of feel the same at this point. Like if I'm not hearing something back, then I'm like, are they listening? Are they paying attention? Is it okay?
Yeah. But there's specific sounds like I didn't do that before living in Japan. For expressing like surprise. Yeah. Talking about Japan, what would you say is your first experience of, how can I say, what would you say in your life you came at a point where you just like, what is Japan, after like doing something? Like, I don't know, like you hear of anime and someone tells you like, this is like Japanese anime, and you're like, Japanese anime. Like, when would you say like you had like this kind of moment? Because I'm sure you had it, right? Because you are into like that kind of stuff. So when would you say like would be your memory of being exposed to Japan and curious enough to look into it?
I think that was back when I was around like 11 or so. So it happened probably a little bit earlier than some other people that I knew at the time. There was a group of us that were really into like manga or anime or stuff because it was on things like Cartoon Network or just Saturday morning cartoon channels. But a lot of people just enjoyed that stuff and didn't think further about it. I think because I had access to the internet. I had access to the internet when I was like 8.
I had it when I was young too.
Because I had access, I got into things like subbed anime a lot quicker. And then from subbed anime, I started like getting into the idea of like learning Japanese. I've been trying to learn Japanese still for a long time. I've been trying to study for the last like 2.5 years, but I'm still really bad at kanji and I still can't hold a conversation. I can understand more than I can speak. So like if I'm listening to a conversation.
日本語で喋りましょう。はい。
はい。
皆さん、JankenPommeです。よろしくお願いします。
よろしく。
I
コージーちゃんです。よろしくお願いします。
I can speak a tiny bit. I live here, but I think growing older and being more busy and just like not being able to putting all of my life into the language, I accepted of being stuck as like, I have like this kind of very basic Japanese and I will survive out of it.
Yeah, I have very basic. I think it's the same sort of thing. Like I try to put in at least a little bit of studying. Like I watch these Japanese studying channels and I try to practice like writing out my hiragana and katakana and stuff. I'm very bad at kanji. But I've actually learned, kanji. In the last couple of years, I've at least learned enough that I can read hiragana most of the time. I can pick out different things in hiragana. And
do you have your katakana too?
Katakana is close, but not as good because it's not as widely used. So I haven't had as much experience
unless
with it.
You live here, trust me. Oh my God, katakana is everywhere.
I'm sure.
Yeah, because they name everything with katakana, like products, like anything that is like not from Japan, they will like have in katakana.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to learn, but I think it's just that kind of situation where there's just so many other things going on in life that I can only put in a couple of like an hour or so of studying here and there. So it's so slow.
No, I get it. Like I tried. I really tried. And I feel that like unless like you put your, how can I say, your life into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you will never truly like being able to learn that language because
Yeah.
there's not a lot of how can I say, it doesn't bridge very well with the English language. Like it's so different that you have kind of relearn a lot, and you cannot like steal. Like for example, going from French to English, there's a lot of parallels.
Oh yeah.
You like, even if people are like, oh, French is one of the hardest language to learn, there's still a lot of parallels that can be done. But when you go Japanese, no, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of those katakana word, and sometimes, oh my god, the katakana word, you're like, you know, it's not Japanese, and then you read it. It's like, what does it say? What does it say? What is the? And then you're like, oh my god, it's this word. I have to read it, like. And then you're like, yeah. But sometimes it's just like, like you're like, really? It's just the closest you thought, but yeah, that's as close as we get.
Yeah, some of the katakana words are kind of just like, that could have been a little bit closer to the original, couldn't it? Yeah.
And sometimes what they do is that they will use the actual origin of a word. So you'd think that it's like meant to be English, but it's kind of like German. Yeah, especially for things that are in the medicine field.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of loan word that comes from Germany because back in the days, this is where like most of their medical stuff came from.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of got like anchored as like European wording more than English.
Yeah.
And the funniest is that Japan and a lot of Japanese people will think that those words are all English, and you're like, no. Like there's one word that is used a lot. Part-time would be arubaito.
Arubaito. Yeah.
Arubaito. And then you tell them that now that's not English. Yeah.
Wait, where did arubaito come from then?
Isn't it German or something like that? I think.
I'm not sure. I don't know as much about German.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about a couple of languages like Korean, French. Arbeit. Okay, makes sense. But yeah,
but I'm pretty sure it doesn't come from English.
Yeah. No,
So,
I watched a lot of Japanese variety shows at one point and picked up a lot of language from that. But I also have just been picking up like random words pretty much forever since I was like back when I was 10, 11 or so. So like things like hikari I picked up early, or
light.
Hanabi, or hana in general.
Hana.
Yeah.
Hana or hana?
Hana,
flower, right?
Yeah. Isn't it fire flower for firework? Hanabi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hana being flower and B being fire. Yeah.
Yeah, like fire burning or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've picked up a lot of words like that over time, but I don't have enough to like hold a conversation. But I can understand. I can pick out from context and stuff like that other conversations. So I can listen to things like VTubers or variety shows or stuff.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I listen a lot. I understand a lot. But you put me in a position that I have to make a sentence. My brain is like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I have those big brain fart of like making sentence. It's really the next step.
It's hard. Yeah. It's rough. I need to like just try and pay attention. I've been trying to watch these channels recently that talk more about like the casual way of saying things and like present day, because a lot of the things that are like study resources use either old casual forms of things
Yeah.
or they use really, really formal stuff. And
Japanese have been so bad at exporting their language because they don't know how. The best thing you can have to learn Japanese is learning it from someone either
Who's
a Japanese
there?
who's been
Yeah.
outside Japan or someone that is not Japanese.
Yeah.
I know
Oh,
it
yeah.
sounds
True.
odd. It sounds odd because usually we would think it's better to have like someone who's like, Japanese from Japan, but they don't know how to explain their own language.
Yeah.
Same thing for English. Like I like how I'm gonna try to connect this. Languages is a literal memory leak. Languages is a literal
True.
memory leak. Like if you don't use them, it just leak.
Yeah.
It just leak and
It's
you
just
forget
gone.
about it. All right. So talking about languages right now, if you're wondering like, hey, what are you talking about that? I want to hear about boomer stuff or talking about actual memory leak.
It's fine.
Right?
It's fine. It's
so,
fine.
So I wanted to say, if you try to explain a lot of your native language to someone who wants to learn, and then they start asking you why, you go like, I don't know, just follow the rule. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask why. But they want to know why. They want to try to make sense to understand it, right? So it is a thing where sometime having someone it's their second language or third or whatever can actually use what they had for teaching a language, like their own learning, to actually explain it. It's kind of interesting. I love, by the way, languages and teaching. So
were you ever like a teacher for languages or anything?
Yes, I was. It's one of the way to enter this country, and it's bring back a bit to the question I asked you earlier, right? On where Japan kind of came in your life. Like for me, it came kind of early. I think when I have learned like of Nintendo is a Japanese company. What? A Japanese
yeah,
company?
I guess Nintendo too. I definitely learned mostly from anime though.
Yeah, and then the interest grew, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the interest grew further as I became older, and there was at some point a part of me who was just like, I have to make a decision, and my decision is that I want to live in Japan, and for that I'm gonna need to go to university and get a bachelor degree. Kind of did that a bit later in my life, and it's kind of crazy spending like a lot of your life to actually achieve that goal, and then you remember where you started, right? When you're like, oh, like I've heard that Japan is like having a lot of issue with English, like, for me as a French person who learned English because I wanted to be more connected with the world, I wanted to be connected with the internet, I wanted to talk to people, I wanted to learn about more, because in French, especially in Quebec French, was kind of limited, and I was just like, I want to share that because it was so important to me. And then you come here and oh my God, the system like just killed me. Like it killed like all those memory I had made of me like trying to come here to experience this and to share. Like I did reach to some kids working as a teacher, but like it's fighting against the system that just like kind of got me tired.
Yeah.
Like, and just like, if I want to stay here, I'm gonna need to find something else.
Yeah.
And open a shop, I guess.
I've heard a lot
open a shop
about how rough it is to try and like acclimate into Japan, especially if you come in through like language teaching sort of classes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah. But the best is to find like that one Japanese person who's really interested and
Oh
like
yeah.
very passionate. And then you're like, all right, now we're talking. Like we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Mm.
But you just, you gotta find them out there. But yeah. This is why like I'm I'm also very passionate about like VTubing and being a VTuber because I've felt there was like these memory kind of making more sense to me by seeing how some of Japanese branches care a
Yeah.
lot about like sharing, about learning,
Hmm.
about like connecting themselves to the world. And yeah, to me it speaks a lot. And it really bring me back to all those memories I had, like when I was just like, like I really want to be part of like connecting myself more to others and having others being able to also do that in return.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I've really tried to get into. There were a couple of communities that
Mm,
sprung up at different points during VTubing stuff that were supposed to be kind of international communities where it
mm,
had like usually it was primarily Japanese and English speakers, but there was also like Spanish or Portuguese or so on. And it was
mm.
just people that were trying to learn more about each other's cultures and trying to like
Huh.
break into those sort of spheres and stuff like that. They're really cool communities. Unfortunately, they kind of like fade out pretty quickly because it's a big commitment.
Yes, yes, that's for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure. Yeah, a lot of people often go back to solo just
Mhm.
because like you try to do a collab, just like, all right, like scheduling, and then all right, and
Oh
then you
yeah.
have to like
Time
everyone
zones.
align and like in time zone. Yeah, exactly. When you want
Mhm.
like something like intercultural, you gotta check like everyone time zone, and then
Mhm.
yeah,
I did a
I
collab
get it, I get
recently.
it. Mm.
I did a collab recently. I think the only like major time zone difference we didn't have was JST, which was probably a good thing because we had an Australian
Ah,
and a Brit there along with me.
I mean Australian is pretty much
It's close,
Japan
yeah.
time
Yeah,
zone.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
it was
Yeah, I
rough.
did. I did that. I did that in one of my collab that I had recently
Mm.
with RPR in June, where like one is from Europe, I'm from Japan, and the other
Mm.
one is from the Americas. Oh boy, like someone is gonna pay. Someone is gonna be late at night for sure.
That's why I always feel kind of bad for Pia as part of Kawa because there isn't
Mm,
another member that's so close to JST right now. It's mostly EST or
ah,
CST or PST. So
I see. I see.
yeah, it's hard. And then
Mm,
she's got her probing job and stuff on the side, so
right. 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 Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about today that I have in my book
mm, mm,
that I prepared. So we talked about the fact that I opened a pawn shop, right?
yes.
Here in Japan because I love collecting, and collecting is often also very heavily connected to memories,
Mm,
especially when there's like something that you like, it's like your prized item, right? Because then
mm.
you remember about them. And I wanted, maybe you have something like that, and I'll ask you afterward, but I do have something like that where I decided to start collecting.
Mm.
And it was very, how can I say, game changing in my way to see how I collect things. And basically I want to talk about the first figure I ever
Oh,
got.
oh, you got into figure
Mm.
collecting?
Yeah, that's yes and no, but let me let me explain.
Okay, okay.
I remember my first experience at a anime con. In Quebec, it's called Otakuton,
Mm.
and it was my first time. And have you ever been to a con?
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
Exactly. But there's something about your first con,
Yeah.
right? Where you're just like excited about everything and everything is cool and you're like you want to see everything. You want to see all the shops, you want to see all the event. And then I remember I had this, how can I say, completely irrational feeling. I was just like, I need to buy a figure. I don't care. At my first con, I have all these figure all here in the shop area. I have to buy a figure. And then I remember going through the aisle and checking at all the figure and just like not amused at all. And I would go, this is so expensive.
Yeah, they were.
Oh my God. Oh, they still are.
Nah.
They still are. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I was just like, there's no way I'm walking out of here without spending a couple, like 100.
Yeah.
At least 100. And I was just like, oh my God, I better pick one that I really, really like.
Yeah, I never got into figures
remember.
just because of that. It was so expensive.
Yeah, it's so expensive. And I remember, and now thinking about it, I'm not too proud. It's a sussy figure of, do you know this anime called Queen Blade?
Oh, I do, yeah.
It's the Egyptian villain.
Mhm.
What is her name? It's not with an M, I feel.
Oh, I'm
Malice?
terrible with names.
I think it's Malice. Maybe chat has a collective memory and they can confirm. But yeah, I think it's Malice. That is her name. And what it did to me, though, is that it really, really, how can I say, activated this desire to collect. And at some point I was very figure heavy in my collecting. Nowadays a bit less because it's way too expensive, I feel.
So expensive.
But it really, like, this memory really like kind of activated my desire to collect. I go for more acrylic now.
Oh, acrylics are
Like,
good, yeah.
yeah, they're more they're just as cute, maybe not as detailed, but yeah, have a shit ton of
I have a bunch of them
hololive
right now. I got a bunch of them of my gen mates and stuff, and then I got myself a cute little chibi hololive one of the
Nice.
the Ian myth branch.
Oh, I have it too. I know exactly the one you're talking
Really?
about. I have it. Yeah. It was like in all the myth together.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like kind of blue packaging.
Yeah,
Like kind of long.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah. But yeah, so do you collect, or do you like ever think about that? When you get some goods, do you see it really at collecting? How do you feel
Yes.
about
So
that?
I have a rock collection.
You have, oh my God, no, not, oh my God, I know where we're going with this. Okay, I'm not saying, oh my God.
What?
no, we're gonna
What?
need
No,
to
go
talk.
on. What is it? What you gotta say about my rocks, huh?
Well, I don't know when you wanted me to talk about it, but oh no, she has a rock collection.
I do have a rock
Oh my
collection.
God.
I do.
Okay.
It's a
I have a
really,
feeling.
it's actually a pretty big rock collection.
Hmm.
I am serious. It's a pretty big
I know
rock
you
collection.
are.
It's got like probably, I think, 20, 30 different types of rock and in
Oh,
various
all
sizes.
right.
I've got a really big rose quartz piece that I
Hmm.
got sort of recent-ishly. I have a huge chunk of fool's gold. Yeah.
Oh no, one of my viewers is in the chat. They know.
I love rocks. I actually went to rock shows when I was
Hmm.
younger even.
Rock show?
Yes!
What is that?
It's basically a rock convention.
No way. You gotta be shitting
No,
me.
they're real. I
Tell me
went to
more.
rock
Tell me
shows.
more.
Okay, so I
Tell
went to
me more.
these rock shows. You would go to them and they would have like these huge pieces of like amethyst or like geodes, and you could buy like these little grab bags of different rocks that you could pick up and see what you got out of them, or you could actually, in some places you could break open geodes. They had snacks. The
Oh,
snacks were rock candy.
I cannot believe that. It is a,
It was a real
you
thing.
kept that as a surprise. Oh my god.
Yeah, gem and mineral shows. Yeah.
I see. I see. Wow. Wow.
I didn't want to tell you
All
too
right.
soon, you know?
All right. Yeah. Oh, you must have found this so funny then. Yeah. So basically, well, since we're talking about that, I guess I can plug it real quick if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm reacting like that because on my channel I have a show that I also have running, and basically it's a pawn shop show where I invite either my viewers or guests to show me their items, their prize item, either like they're rare or they have an emotional value, and we kind of do like an item review, but we talk about kind of the memory of those items or just like the rarity of them. And the one thing that always come back, I always have rocks. There's always someone who want to sell me goddamn rocks on my show.
Listen, I have
like
some
a
really pretty
stoner.
rocks, okay? I have some really pretty rocks. You'll love them. I am going to show them to you.
All right. I can't wait. I can't wait. Spoiler alerts, but it's okay. I'm sure others are going to be surprised. Wow. Amazing. I can't wait.
I went to a rock show. Yeah, that did sound a lot cooler in middle school.
Yeah, it does sound cool when you're like, yeah, it's not about music, sorry.
Rock collection stream.
Oh my god. That's good.
Yeah,
But some people take it very seriously. Rock collecting? So, I have to kind of respect it. Like, I cannot like be like that, like annoyed by it, because
I did actually take it pretty seriously at the time. I didn't have like anything that was incredibly expensive or anything like that, but it was very sentimental, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I was not from a very wealthy family. I was from a pretty broke family, and we also had a craft and jewelry sort of store that our family ran. So my grandmother actually knew how to set stones onto rings and stuff like that to create rings. And
That's
cool. I
I
knew how to like polish them correctly and everything like that. So I had that. And then on top of that, since I was kind of on the broker side, rock collecting meant that I could like just pick up things from places that I went. And then that would become the sentimental thing that I would bring with me.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
All right. Damn. I didn't think we would dig this one up today. I guess literally digging rock.
Yeah, she could cut rocks and turn them into gemstones. Yeah, she had a full set of skills with it.
That's really cool. Really cool. Have you ever made jewelry?
I haven't made any with gems or anything like that. I've made I've done beading stuff, and yeah, I've made chokers before too. But nothing that's like, with actual gemstones or anything.
Okay. But your grandma did.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I watched her do it a lot of the time too, because she had like a little setup at the house.
Yeah, that sounds fun. That sounds like artisan kind of work. Like it's really pleasing. Sometimes I do find myself like I don't go on Twitch often, but sometimes I do wonder, and I do enjoy watching people work on artisan stuff. Like there's a kind of, how can I say, there's appeasing kind of emotion that goes through watching people like make kind of artisan
Yeah.
crafting stuff like
Yeah, it's
that.
such intricate work. It takes such
Uh,
detail, and like you have to have such
mm,
dexterity and stuff like that too. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Hmm.
clearly you'll buy my rock, so it's fine.
I guess we'll talk about it. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I had a rock
Mm.
collection, and then the other thing that I collected a lot of, I was very into Pokemon, like incredibly into Pokemon. So
Yeah.
I actually have a
Nice.
full, I haven't done it in a couple of generations. I got very upset at Pokemon for a while because
Oh, okay.
most of the
I
more recent
mm.
generations are,
Yes, yes. I know exactly your frustration. I think you don't even need to explain to me. I probably
yeah,
went to the same frustration. Yeah. They
yeah.
you know, they make easy money and it's lazy and probably all
Mm-hmm.
that jazz. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I got really frustrated with them, so I haven't done it in a couple generations, but I do have, I think, from generation 7 and under, a full living dex of every single Pokemon.
Nice, nice.
And that's like not only, it's like Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur, etc., etc. Every single
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have them all
Someone had a
organized.
lot of free time.
I have them all organized by generation and a number, and they're all set in my Pokemon bank. And then I also have, on top of that, a collection of legendary Pokemon that I've been like stockpiling since I was younger. So I have like really old legendaries, like the old Arceus that you could have gotten as like a giveaway item for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so that you could go to the ruins of Alph and do a special event and things like that. Like very special stuff. I have the not-eared Pichu, which I can't even use anymore or transfer into Pokemon Bank because they won't let me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's in my Heart Gold and Soul Silver Pokewalker.
Aww. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about Pokemon, right? It kind of activates a lot of people into collecting, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's kind of part of the game. Gotta catch them all. So I guess it makes sense that Pokemon is really good at like kind of gathering people like that. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes total sense. And that's nice. That's kind of impressive too. Nice, nice.
Yeah. So mostly those two. I didn't really have anything like super interesting that I collected besides those.
Okay. Well, sometime, we collect things without realizing. Like, you're in your house and you're just like, oh, there's this thing that like I don't know, my great grandmother like gave like kind of an heirloom, but it's not really, it's just given like to family generation, and it's there and you have it and you don't realize, but it's kind of a collection. It's just not, pretty in a glass shelf or something, but in a way, like it kind of became a collectible. Just like not like maybe prestigious, but maybe like more like something that just been around and it still exists, right? So
Yeah.
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 All right, but I'm excited. I'm excited to to see what you have.
Oh, I guess technically on the same topic of Pokemon too, I did collect every single Pokemon game before the Switch ones too.
Okay. That's nice. Damn, all the spoilers.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, we don't have to talk about it too much.
And I guess I can say it. It's December and it's I think in 2 weeks or so. But yeah, we're acting like that because Kozii is gonna be my next guest in Pomme Stars. I've been talking with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I got some stuff. I think I could show you." And this is why, like, she's been like, kind of hinting.
I got some interesting things.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not like spoiling everything. I have plenty of things.
Okay.
I have plenty of things.
All good.
I do have to go looking through all of my stuff so I can find it all. But
All right.
I've been thinking. I've been coming up with
Nice.
some stuff. You'll end up
I'm
with
sure
all
it's
my
gonna be
collection.
good.
That's
I'm
true.
sure.
Yeah, Mumpaka actually has some really interesting collections.
Oh.
She has a piece of the Haunted Mansion from Disneyland.
Whoa, that is cool.
She's got like a chunk of
That
it.
is definitely in up there for rarity kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I
Pawn
like
off the
that.
Y2K bug. No, my. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It has been almost 2 hours of us hanging
I
out
know,
here.
right? It's been like easy breezy and just one topic after the other.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
wow.
No, it's really quick. It always feels like time goes so much quicker doing these things. It doesn't even like I always by the end of them I'm sitting like, oh, but we didn't talk about this. Oh, I didn't do this yet. Oh, but wait.
Yeah.
But
It's
I don't want to keep them going too far after 2 hours because I know
no.
it can be information overload for some people.
100%. That's
Yeah.
I think we kind of sounded like we were slowly
Petering
wrapping
off.
down.
Yeah. So probably fine. Is there anything that you would like to possibly show to people?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I have this show back on my channel called Pomme Stars, where Kozii is gonna be in a couple weeks. So if you guys like are interested, I had some quite interesting guests and also quite interesting items already. Yeah, outside of that, I'm working also as a QA person, quality assurance person on a lot of games, a lot of fan games, and there's one that I participated in. If you want to check it out, I did a stream about that. It's called Age of Advent, HoloLive fan games that Kevin Cow and all the team we worked on. We worked really hard on making a great game. You can check it out on my channel, and you can check it out on Steam. Yeah, I love that's a thing that we didn't talk about a lot. But yes, I love fan games a lot. And if you're ever interested, there's a lot of that back on my channel.
Yeah. Janken has a lot of HoloLive, especially HoloLive and Tempest and stuff like that, fan games that he's been diving into. They're great.
Yeah. Or working on, literally.
Yeah. Or just working on. Yeah.
So that's about it. That's about it. Thank you for having me today. I really had a great time. I kind of knew, right, that would be very natural for both of us. I kind of have this type of stream, but it was nice to remind ourselves of back in the days.
Back in the good old days. Now I just want to go to a library, though.
Yeah, maybe I'm sure that in Japan we still have some because like we kind of lived like 20 years in the past anyway.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys enjoyed today's Memory Leak, and I will be back with Memory Leak again next week. My schedule is still a little bit up in the air right now.
Hey! Yeah.
Brofist in chat, do it.
My brofist.
Do it.
All right, come on.
Bring it in, chat.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you. It was great.
Yeah, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.